Right, first of all, I'd like to propose a toast to the downfall of conservative rule.
Oh, look, the sun's coming out. What a coincidence. Welcome to H2 2024. And you know what that means, Laura? 2024 is over halfway over.
Oh my God.
I know. The last time we gave you a little reading update was the end of Q1. And, we read a few books since then, right?
Yeah. We'd had quite a good Q1.
Yeah, very good, actually. I'd say some all-timers in there.
Yeah.
So I thought what we'd do is go back over H1, quickly just review, how's our top 3 changed?
Yep.
From this year, and look ahead. What are we currently reading? What are we going to read this summer? And what do we want to read before the end of the year?
Okay.
Give it a little vibe, What are Ross and Laura reading right now? What are we interested in? What are we excited to read?
Okay.
Yeah?
I will just say I had a bit of a rubbish Q2.
Did you?
I had some real clangers.
Oh, no. Well, I was expecting the book that wouldn't burn to be at the top, Laura. Anyway, so did you read anything in Q2 that was worthy enough of making your top 3?
My face is so sweaty that my glasses keep fogging up. Glasses wearers of YouTube, help me.
Laura, did you read anything in Q2 that made your top 3 for this year so far? Or anything close? Let's say anything close.
I really loved The Poppy War.
R.F. Kuang.
Yeah, it was one that I started and didn't expect to love as much as I did by the end. I started it and it had some YA vibes, which historically I've not loved. It's got the whole magic school protagonist who's incredibly gifted for no reason that I can discern other than, a plot device.
You're going to love The Will of the Many. But it was good.
Yeah,
What
but
happened?
then
What happened?
you get to, I think it's I remember saying to some friends, I'm not sure about this book, it feels a bit YA for me. And they were like, wait until you hit, I think it was chapter 22 or chapter 26.
If the chapter's numbered and they remember the number,
Yeah.
then that's bad news.
Yeah. And I remember getting to this point and just being like, holy macaroni. I'm self-censoring.
Other pasta shapes are available.
And yeah, it kicked off. Oh my goodness.
You say it popped off. Poppy War. Anyway, so anything else to say on Poppy War, Laura? Sorry.
It's amazing. And in my TBR for H2, I've got The Dragon Republic, which is the second in the series.
Why don't you show? Got props.
Have I?
You got props. I've given you props.
So he has.
What good is having books if we can't show them off? There you go. Signed?
Possibly.
There it
is.
is. There it is.
Looking forward to reading that in H2.
So I read one book that nearly made my top 3 in Q2, and that is Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. The only reason this didn't make my top 3 for this year so far is because it was so powerful, so moving, that some of those emotions I did not experience as pure thrill. I experienced as, ow, that hurts. Please stop it. It's an extraordinary book, highly recommended, playful and yet crushing.
Wonderful yet triggering.
Wonderful. That should be on the back of the book. That was our year so far. Let's talk about what we're currently reading. Laura, what are you currently reading?
At the moment, I'm reading...
Got it.
At the moment, I'm reading Leviathan Wakes.
So am I.
By James S.A. Corey, who I have discovered is actually 2 people.
Yes.
But I am loving this. I'm about a quarter of the way in at the moment.
We were going to try and do a little book club video of this, potentially, at the end of the month. See how we go.
Yeah.
We acknowledge that we skipped the Promise of Blood book club. Why is that, Laura?
Because I didn't finish it. Please, authors, this is a plea from me to you. Write some women who are not simply there to be plot devices for male storylines, who are not just there to open their legs, who are not just there to look after babies, wash clothes, or be hags. Thank you. We can move on now.
Wow, the Leviathan really woke inside Laura.
To be fair,
Yeah.
I got, I think, 16% in and then was just like, nope.
Yeah.
And launched my Kindle down the bed and did not pick it back up.
It's still there.
It's still there.
Anyway, this is really good. I'm also a similar point to Laura. It's really kicking off. Loving it.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
More recent future. So comparing that to Sun Eater, kind of a bit more earthy, bit more kind of gritty. Big fan. What else are you reading at the moment?
Well, I mentioned Dragon Republic. I have started it. I'm a person who tandem reads, so I'm reading...
Tandem? Or like quadrum?
Aussie, what have you got on your nose?
Oh, what have I got on my nose?
You've got blue things on your nose.
Have I?
There's something blue on your nose.
Has that been the whole video?
I think so. I don't know what it was, but it was bright blue. So I'm a person that reads multiple books at the same time. I don't know that is an unpopular approach.
No, I think most people do it, to be honest.
Really? Maybe it's just because I'm in the booktube community.
I think if booktubers want to read 52 books a year or more, then they kind of have to, really, don't they?
Yeah, I am not that person. I think so far this year I've read like 12 books, which is a lot. Let's acknowledge that that's a lot.
That's a lot of books.
I also acknowledge that people like Sam Harrison are probably on like 40 books this year already.
Mare's probably on,
Yeah.
Lady May reads probably on like 100.
Yeah, exactly. How many are you on?
28.
There we go. So I feel like I'm lagging behind on my humble 12, which is a lot of books.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter how many books you read in a year. I read slowly compared to other people that make booktube videos.
Yeah.
And I read multiple books at the same time, and I read them slowly, and I enjoy them. Read books as slowly as you need to. DNF with wanton abandon. All that to say, I am reading the Dragon Republic already. And I have been since I finished the Poppy War. I'm reading it very slowly. I'm loving it. I'm also reading Maiden Mother Crone by Joanne Harris, who we love.
I just finished Moonlight Market by her, which is her latest book. Came out just a couple of days ago.
And this she very kindly dedicated to me because we love her so much.
We love you, Joanne.
So it's split over 3 novellas, and I'm only on the first one at the moment, the maiden one. But it's great. I'm loving it.
Didn't realise this is illustrated as well.
Oh yeah.
Holy smokes, look at that. It'll blur out, but anyway, you can sort of get a vibe.
And then finally, the last thing that I'm currently reading at the moment is Row Protocol by Martha Wells, which is another one that I've been reading for absolutely ages. I make no apologies for it.
So I've got a few books that I'm currently reading. Leviathan Wakes we touched on. Also reading Between Two Fires by Christopher Buehlman. I don't have a copy of that one because just for some reason, just really not available over here. You can get the audiobook if you're in the US on Audible, and you can get it from Amazon. But you can also get the audiobook, just listen to the audiobook for free on his YouTube channel, which is what I'm doing. Between Two Fires is like a plague medieval horror, lots of kind of like weird religious stuff in it as well, which is like, it's like, give me that.
Weird religious stuff.
He's just released The Daughter's War, I think it's called, which is the second in a different series, of which I have the first. So I've got The Black Tongue Thief, which is the first in the series. I'm going to hopefully read this year as well. But Between Two Fires is incredible, just gross, brilliant, incredible. And lastly, for my books I'm currently reading, I'm also reading Steering the Craft by Ursula Le Guin, which is a little writing book. I'm really enjoying that one too. So Laura, that's what I'm currently reading. Looking ahead, summer. Summer is already 1/3 of the way through.
Yeah.
But we got a few more months of summer.
Yes.
And summer is a good time to read, don't you agree?
I mean, yes.
As good a time as any. I say that as the sun goes in.
I'm sitting here in a cardigan and you've got a woolly hat on. It's July in the United Kingdom.
So what are you reading to pass the summer, Laura? Or what are you planning to read?
Once I've finished Leviathan Wakes, Fang has made his appearance.
Oh, hello.
What are you shouting about, bud? I am going to be reading next. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to copy Sam Harrison, in that I'm trying to alternate science fiction and fantasy, because otherwise I just go on like a sci-fi bender.
Yeah.
Or a fantasy bender, which I'm trying to avoid doing. So when I finish Leviathan Wakes, I'm going to jump to Joe Abercrombie's The Trouble with Peace, second in his Age of Madness series. We finished A Little Hatred as part of our book club earlier this year.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Extraordinary.
So I'm really looking forward to reading the second in that series. After that, jumping back to sci-fi, Ancillary Justice by Anne Leckie, which just looks amazing. It's won all sorts of awards. She recently released Translation State, which is what brought Ancillary Justice to my attention, and then some friends of ours were saying how amazing this book is. So looking forward to getting my teeth into that one. Then jumping back to fantasy, and this is going to make our friend Mare very happy, because I've been promising her I'm going to read this book for some time now. It's The Will of the Many by James Islington.
Very cool.
Very good. You've read this. You've done a review of this, in fact.
It's great.
It's like a neo-Roman fantasy. Mm-hmm. It's a booktube darling.
It is.
Everybody's read this book.
For good reason. For good reason.
Suppose it was like everyone's book of the year last year. I'm very late on this train.
It's like Red Rising, but good. Seen the spines.
Yeah.
Spines.
And then finally, the second of the Sun Eater saga, Howling Dark.
Still my book of the year.
Still Ross's book of the year. I read Empire of Silence earlier this year. It was amazing. So again, it's the second in the series that I'm looking forward to getting to. So
you got a little fantasy sci-fi thing.
Yeah,
going here.
so
with a little bit of what Martha Wells and chucked in between them, maybe little novellas.
Yeah,
potentially.
I feel like they don't count because they're so small.
They count, but it's also not a competition.
No, it's not a competition. And if you take anything away from this video, it's that read at your own pace. Read what you want to read what you enjoy.
Yeah.
If you're not enjoying a book, DNF it.
Speaking of, I recently DNF'd Adrian Tchaikovsky's The City of Last Chances.
Yeah.
Which was sad. I'm probably still going to try reading House of Open Wounds because they're kind of standalones in the same kind of world, but City of Last Chances, it was all over the place. Couldn't get my head around it. I think when you realise I have no idea what's going on, that's probably a good sign to go, is it worth your time?
Maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah. But my summer TBR is... yeah. Obviously got to finish Leviathan Wakes because I have that on loan from the library. Not this book, but the audiobook on Libby. And likewise, Terry Pratchett's Lords and Ladies on loan from Libby. So I need to read that in the next 14 days. Things are fine. Following up on the Mad Max video, I'm very much looking forward to reading 10 Low by Stark Holborn. Enjoyed catching up with Stark Holborn at Chimera Fest very briefly, and was a surprise because I wasn't expecting to see them there. So that was
a really cool interaction, actually.
Yeah, so lovely.
We bought that book in a bookshop in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Not realising that they were going to be there. And then they were hosting one of the panels.
Yeah.
It wasn't advertised that they were going to be there. And we were just like, oh my God, we bought their book an hour ago. Rushed back to our Airbnb, grabbed it.
Yeah, it was great. Anyway, apparently it's very much like Mad Max. And I just loved that whole aesthetic. So that's very much coming up soon. Because I'm writing as well, I've been trying to read some comps potentially for my book. So I've got The Constant Rabbit by Jasper Ford right here, which sounds quite similar in terms of kind of tone.
So if you're wondering what Ross's book is like, it's kind of like this.
Let me give you the synopsis of this one. England, 2020. There are 1.2 million human-sized rabbits living in the UK. They can walk, talk, and drive cars. The result of an inexplicable anthropomorphizing event 55 years ago. Family of rabbits is about to move into Much Hemlock, a cosy little village where life revolves around summer fetes, jam making, gossipy corner stores, and the oh-so-important Best Kept Village Awards. No sooner have the rabbits arrived than the villagers decide they must depart. But Mrs. Constance Rabbit is made of sterner stuff and her family are behind her. Unusually, so are their neighbours, longtime residents Peter Knox and his daughter Pippa, who soon find that you can be a friend to rabbits or humans, but not both.
What year was that book written? Because it says the year is 2020.
I know.
If that's a long way in the future.
2020.
It was written in 2020?
Yes. I love the idea of starting your book with the year is the
now.
Year. Joining in with the book club on Andrew Watson's Discord server, I'm going to be reading Silver Blood Promise, probably a little bit later than everyone else, but I'm very keen to join with this one. And of course, this one is also signed at Chimera Fest. There we go. Thanks, James. Hopefully see you at Worldcon 2.
He seems like a cool dude.
Really cool dude.
Oh my God, I'm so old. Did I just say he seems like a cool dude?
He seems
like a real cool dude.
He seems so rad. Also, on the summer, last one here, I have The Fisherman by John Langan, which is sort of like a little kind of horror-ish book. Thanks, Fang. Is it because I said fish? It's because I said fish, isn't it? So, lastly, Laura, I'm going to just talk about the end of my year. You talked about your year. Because I'm reading it. Get your tail down. Because I'm writing my book as well, and I'm writing the second draft, which I think should be done around September, mid-September maybe, if I planned it out correctly. So as a little treat, because I've been focusing on writing, I've been reading shorter books, right? So as a little treat, the rest of the year is big books only. So I've got, move your book. So I've got The Golem and the Genie by Helen Wecker. Very much looking forward to that. I have a buddy read planned for Jonathan Strange. Of course, I've read this before, but it seems like a lot of people find this book really intimidating. So I'm here to help folks out. So join us in September, where I'm going to be chairing a buddy read of that, probably over on Fable, which is another book app. Then, of course, we've got the continuation of The Sunny to Disquiet Gods by Christopher Rocchio. This is the most recent release from the Sunny saga. So once I finish this, I have to wait for the next one, like everyone else.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's so sad when you catch up. And lastly, I also have this hefty chonker, The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wang. This is a recently received copy from Page and Wick. I do think this is going to be right up my street as a big fan of Japanese history and those kind of fantasy elements. And actually one that I don't have here, but I also want to read, which is another 1,000 page chonker, is Swan Song by Robert McGammon. So basically, October till December, I am gonna be doing weights with books. They're all gonna be really, probably on my ears. There we go.
You do you, boo.
I'm gonna do me.
I forgot to mention that I'm also going to be reading Metronome by Tom Watson.
Oh yes.
Which is one that it just came up on my Audible as a recommended title, and I'd not heard of it, but it looks really cool. It's like a dystopia where a couple have been abandoned on a deserted island and they have to stay there for 12 years.
Oh,
and
that sounds great.
It looks really good.
I'm assuming that's not Tom Watson, the Labour guy.
No.
And you had another one, didn't you, I think?
Yeah, Infinity Gate by M.R. Carey, which is one that friend of the channel, Sam Harrison, who is getting his third shout out of the video.
You better thank us, Sam.
Yeah. Literally atted me and was like, Laura, you will like this book.
No, that's pretty good.
And when someone literally ats me and says, Laura, you will like this book, I pay attention.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Well, it looks like we got a busy year. We better get on with it.
Yeah. And at the same time, you're finishing your second draft. I'm about 12,000 words into my first draft.
Laura's writing a book, folks.
You may have noted that at one point I mentioned that I was 30,000 words into my first draft. That's because I reread them, hated them, deleted them,
changed POV,
and started again. And this is now, I think, the fourth time that I've done that. So at some point, hopefully in my lifetime, I'll finish this book.
I mean, you're doing pretty well. And it's great. I'm really enjoying what you've read to me so far.
Thanks.
It's got really good vibes. Well, thank you, everyone. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you didn't enjoy this video,
then just shut up.
Leave a comment. What's in your TBR for the end of this year?
Remember, this is not an airport. You do not need to announce your departure.
Has your top 3 changed in Q2 for 2024? That's too confusing. Have you added any books to your top 3 for this year in the last quarter? Once you've done that, go find us on Instagram at Hardy's Books, and then head over to hardysbooks.co.uk and buy one of our range of first edition special signed fantasy and sci-fi books, which we have for you to browse. Anyway.
If you've got this far, comment Hi Fang.
Oh, that's a good point, yes. Please say Hi Fang in your comment. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye. That was chaos.
It was good kind of chaos, though.